Hello, good evening. Welcome to Sunday Sanctuary with me, Sarah. I hope that you're well. I thought that the inner critic would be a good subject to touch upon today. And I thought a good foundation for talking about this is a glimpse at a society that we haven't been brought up in, but I would like you to reflect upon it. And I wonder whether you will be as amazed as I was when I first read about this about 7 years ago. So the book that I'm referring to is The Art of Forgiveness, Loving Kindness and Peace. It's by Jack Cornfield. And in the book, he describes an African forgiveness ritual. I'll quote, "In the Babemba tribe of South Africa, when a person acts irresponsibly or unjustly, the person is placed in the center of the village. All work ceases and every man, woman, and child gathers around in a large circle around the accused individual. Then each person in the tribe speaks to the accused one at a time, each recalling the good things the person in the center of the circle has done in their lifetime. Every incident, every experience that can be recalled with any detail and accuracy is recounted. All of the positive attributes, good deeds, strengths, kindnesses are recited carefully and at length. At the end, the tribal circle is broken and a celebration takes place, and the person is symbolically and literally welcomed back into the tribe." So I wanted to read this because how profound this is to instead of punish and isolate an individual who is deemed to have done something wrong, that person isn't deemed as being innately wrong or bad, as I think a lot of us have kind of been grown up to believe. Actually, in this particular scenario and situation, the individual is deemed to be good, innately good, to have a true self. And when a misdemeanor occurs, instead of reinforcing the fact that that is defining of who they are, instead one is reminded of their goodness. And I would ask you to reflect on how you were brought up. What kind of environment in your own home were you brought up in with regards to criticism? Was one or both of your parents or your caregiver, were they critical of you? Was there an imbalance perhaps in criticism that you received and praise that you received? I know I've reflected on this, and I only discovered 7 years ago that I had a terrible inner critic within me. And this inner critic had been birthed from criticism within my family home, but also in schooling. And this set the foundation for how I felt about myself, what I believed about myself. I think often in childhood, if you've been brought up by a mother who was overly critical, what you take from that is that you are inherently bad. There's something inherently bad from you because you are not pleasing to your mother. And we can carry this through, and this is how we become people pleasers. I know I've touched on this before in previous videos, but we will then try to override this feeling of being bad. But the feeling of being bad is deep. And this is something that many of us are living with. And that's why it's very important to reflect back to your childhood to find out why do you feel bad or guilty, or that everything is your fault. You might find that in situations where you feel bad about yourself, that inner critic is working strongly in your own mind. And we need to think back to our childhood to kind of start having an understanding of what's going on with us. It's important to understand where things come from. Why? The why is hugely important. Children used to ask it all the time. You as a child used to ask it all the time. And at a certain point, adults just start saying things like, because I told you why, that's why. But that's not an answer. And then we stop asking why. And then we just start living this life at surface value. And we need to go back and understand the why. A very simple example I want to give you of the power of criticism and then praise in my childhood. When I was thinking about this subject, I brought to mind being in junior 3. I can't remember what age that was. I think it's like, what was it, 9, 10? I think so, 9 or 10, junior 3. And I had a teacher who was terribly critical of me. She was always telling me how messy I was. She would lift up my desk lid in front of my friends, you know, the other people in my class, and show them that I had like a rotten banana in there and just all these things. She was just always shaming me, incredibly mean. I finished that whole year at school feeling so downtrodden about myself. And obviously, you know, that feedback was given to my mum and dad at meetings, and then I would be berated by them as well, because this woman was deemed as an authority figure. You know, my parents were also triggered by these kind of meetings because they hadn't healed their own inner child. They were also people pleasing, and to have a teacher as an authority figure to say these things about their child, I was berated for it, you know. The interesting thing was in junior 4, so then I was a year older. It was the end of junior high school, and it was a preparation for me to go into senior school. And my mum wanted me to go to this school where I had to pass exams. I absolutely did not feel like I would pass any exams, the way that I felt about myself leaving junior 3. But in junior 4, I had this teacher who was the total opposite of the teacher that I had. This teacher, anything good that I did, she only spoke on it and she praised me. It was like she didn't see the other side of me the other teacher had. This teacher absolutely drew out the very, very best in me. And the more she praised me, the more I saw that in myself, and my belief in myself increased. And I lit up. And, you know, I passed the exams at the end of the year to go to the school that I ended up going to. But it really enforces to me that I think in society, we've been brought up in a very critical society. One that doesn't foster self-belief and really relies on our insecurities to be part of a group and to have authority tell us what to do. So how to change this, how to switch it around. As mentioned, reflection on childhood is incredibly important. And I just want to, if you just imagine, if you have done something that that was deemed wrong, if you made an accident, whatever it was, and you find yourself berating yourself in your own mind, try to become aware and ask yourself, would you speak to a child like that? Would you say, oh my God, I'm such a stupid blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, and just drive yourself into this feeling of shame. Imagine this part of you as a child and what would be helpful and assist growth. It might be breathing properly in and out to calm the body. It might be a soothing, kind voice. It's okay. It's okay. It's going to be all right. It's okay. Try to foster an inner voice which is kind and compassionate and that loves you unconditionally. Because quite often growing up, We didn't have that from our parents. They did the best they could with what they had. But that doesn't mean that they gave us what we needed. And now we have to become what we needed. That's the key to healing. We become what we needed when we were younger. And that will calm the inner critic, because that inner critic isn't you. It's voices, opinions, beliefs, judgments that you have absorbed within yourself. And that can create a lot of confusion, mess, fogginess inside of you. And it makes it very difficult to really know who you are and to start loving yourself. On top of that, you know, you're probably living a very busy life. Maybe you've got kids. You know, there's always play dates and so many events that and WhatsApp chats, and just lots of people have fear of missing out because we don't want to say no. Like, there's just so much going on out there that can pull you into some kind of a trance of forgetfulness of who you really are, what your values are, how beautiful you are, how innocent you are, how pure you actually are underneath all the shit that's got on top of you over all these years. So that's my little tuppence on the inner critic. I've got a meditation coming now that will really help you to calm yourself, ground yourself, and develop some self-compassion. I really hope that you enjoy that. And if you want to discuss with me how I work in my coaching and how I might be able to support you moving forwards, please click on the link underneath in the description. And I would love to speak to you and have a free consultation to talk about what I do and how I can help you to become your joyful, loving, and peaceful self again. Thank you. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. See you next week. This is a meditation on quieting the inner critic. So just get comfortable. Perhaps you can find a place to go and lie down. On a bed or on the sofa. And just come into your body. Down from the head. Feeling your feet. Focusing on the top of your head. And feeling the heart area. Coming into balance. Starting to relax. And just coming away from the mind and spreading your attention all over your body. And just focusing on the breath. Nice big breaths into your belly. And I want you to recall a difficult emotion that you felt recently. Maybe it was jealousy or fear. What did you feel about that? Did you feel bad about having that feeling? Did you feel wrong for having that feeling? Bring that situation to mind and try to remember how you felt about that in yourself. Perhaps you criticized yourself for it. Now I want you to see what happens when you reframe bad with being in pain from feeling jealous or fearful. So just replacing feeling bad with feeling pain from that, suffering from that. And see how that feels in your body. The reframe from feeling bad about yourself to perhaps beginning to feel some compassion for yourself. Focusing on the breath coming in and out as you're just focusing on this. And how do you now feel in your body about that specific occasion? Observe the various sensations. Perhaps you can feel that the pain is there, but maybe there's compassion that can now surround it, almost like a blanket around the pain. And notice the effect of the word bad with suffering. You're not bad. You are suffering. There's nothing wrong with you. You need some soothing, your own self-soothing, your own assistance. When you catch yourself being harshly critical and replace that habit with some compassion, that's really giving yourself the loving kindness that you needed when you were younger. And you can become the parent that you needed when you were in pain. You're not bad. You have pain that needs your own attention and your own compassion. Taking in some deep breaths in and out. And just relaxing again, relaxing more into that feeling of self-compassion, having self-compassion for yourself. Just reminding yourself you're not bad for feeling certain things. You have pain, and you can help yourself with that by doing such practices as this. Giving yourself time to relax and reflect on your life and what's happening inside you. The world is very, very good at drawing you out there with all of your attention. Go, go, go. Worrying about what everyone else is doing. And being in this very busy hamster wheel. But if you just give yourself more time to just come back to yourself, you will foster beautiful relationship with yourself. And this will stand you in such good stead for any trials, tribulations in your life, because you will not be rocked by criticisms from out there or in your own mind. You'll become your own best friend, and again, the parent that you wished you'd had that can soothe you and provide you with unconditional love. You're not bad. You never were. You needed reassurance and soothing and unconditional love. And you can do that now. And I hope that you've enjoyed this meditation. Breathing in peace and breathing out stress. Come into the room again. Open your eyes.